Hello, and welcome to episode 22 of the Crazy Knitters Studio podcast. My name is Kristen, also known as Crazy Knitting Fool on Ravelry, and I'm your host. Today is Saturday, June 18th, 2016, and I'm calling this episode Double Deuces. So I want to say hi to all returning viewers. Thanks for coming back, and a special hello to any new viewers. Thanks for checking me out, and I hope you stick around. So moving on into the starting lineups, which are introductions. There were no introductions in the thread, so if you want a little shout out on the podcast, come and introduce yourself in the thread in the Ravelry group, and I'll give you a little shout out. Okay, moving on into presser, weeks in review. So 2 weeks ago, Saturday, when I recorded last, I had mentioned that my husband and my son were out of town, and at 11 o'clock that night, I get a phone call that they are in the emergency room. My son was complaining that his chest was hurting, so he went in, they gave him a breathing treatment, they gave him a steroid, they watched him for about an hour and a half, and then they discharged him. He was so scared, he thought he was going to have to sleep in the hospital. He did not want to, he said. We're theorizing that he has developed a grass allergy. He was outside in the grass, running around all day with my step-grandsons. And he had another time when he was here playing outside and rolling around in the grass, and he came in and he had some bumps on his arm. So we might have to get his allergy testing redone. But he's fine. But it's, I trust my husband totally. My husband has asthma. He's probably actually overprotective when it comes to little man and his asthma. My husband's asthma went undiagnosed. He remembers his first asthma attack that he can remember. He was 6 and he wasn't diagnosed until he was 16 when he almost died from an asthma attack. So he's very sensitive to it, but it's hard when your baby's 3 hours away and in the emergency room and crying because he's scared. But we FaceTimed and he calmed down and it was okay. So moving on. Last Saturday, we went to my brother's house. We had my niece's birthday. She turned 23. I do not know how that is possible because I'm 23 and she was born when I was in high school. So I don't know how she got to be 23. But it was nice. So we met her new beau. I don't want to say boyfriend. They're just gone out a couple of times. But he seemed nice. So we'll see how it goes. She's only 23. She doesn't need to worry about getting married or anything. And then on Wednesday, little man started soccer. So it's called Soccer Academy. It's not really a team. It's through the Recreation Authority, and it's more learning. So they're teaching them how to dribble between their feet and how to roll over the ball and pass and play defense. And they'll play little scrimmages. It's only for 6 weeks, but they're not really a team, but he seemed to enjoy it. He loves the shoes. My husband bought him soccer shoes, and he wants to wear them in the house. I'm like, no. They don't have metal cleats. They're plastic, but I still don't think it's good for the carpet for you to be walking around in your cleated soccer shoes. So, sorry, buddy. I told him when we go outside and practice, he can wear them, but other than that, no. So. And then yesterday was the last day of school, so I now officially have a second grader. Don't know how that happened, but it was only a half a day, so I took the day off of work and dropped him off, came home, and then picked him up, and then we went out to lunch at Panera, he calls it Panera, and then we came home, and I'm not feeling very well. I feel like I might be coming down with something. I have a pain, like, from here down my throat, and it hurts to swallow, so I took a little nap while he played with his iPad, but it was an okay day. And then last week we got the sad news that Mr. Hockey, Gordie Howe, passed away. If you don't know who Gordie Howe is, he played for the Detroit Red Wings for many, many years. He played professional hockey until he was 52. He actually played with his sons, or one of his sons. I don't know if he played with both of them. 2 of his sons played in professional hockey, but I don't know if he played with both of them or just one. But he used to be the all-time leading scorer before Wayne Gretzky, and Wayne Gretzky always says he wore 99 because of Gordie Howe, so he passed away. He'd been sick for a while, and his wife passed away a few years ago, and, it's very common when people have been married that long especially for men, they kind of go downhill. So they had a funeral for him at the hockey arena, Joe Louis Arena, and lots and lots of people came, and it was very sad. But you know, he and his wife did a lot for our community, so they'll be missed. But I'm sure his sons will carry on the tradition. And then I would be remiss to not mention the tragedy in Orlando last Sunday, which just broke my heart. This is not a political podcast, it's a knitting podcast, but I will just say that I think our leaders need to wake up and realize that these guns serve no purpose other than to kill as many people in as short a time frame as possible. You're not taking an assault rifle out in the woods to go deer hunting. You're not taking an assault rifle in your house to defend your home. I hate guns. We have one. My husband has had it since he lived downtown before we met. It's locked up. Little man can't get to it. You know, we're responsible gun owners, but I don't like them. I don't. That's just my opinion. But I understand if people want to have a hunting rifle and go hunting. I don't like hunting, but again, different strokes, different folks. And I understand having one if you want to protect your home, as long as you're responsible and you lock it up. And because we've had too many babies in the city the last couple of years who have found guns that are hidden under pillows and have shot themselves and other people. So, but assault rifles serve no purpose for everyday citizens. They're for the military. And I just hope something comes of this tragedy. Love people. Let's just love each other. Whether you're gay, straight, white, black, brown, Muslim, Jewish, Christian, let's just have some respect for each other. I'll get off my soapbox and I'll leave it at that. So, love hopefully will win all. All right, into the knitting. So, first downs, the whips. So first up is my Bumpy Road 2.0 shawl, which is the Bumpy Road shawl by me. I'm using size 3.5 millimeter needles, and the yarn is Deborah Norville Serenity Sock in purple. Designing and counting and keeping track of things makes for very slow progress. So, the stitch marker always gets on my nerves. So this is where I was. This is where I am. I think I knit 6 rows. So that's how big it is. So slow but steady wins the race, right? And then again, my nose is itching. Why? Drives me crazy. Okay, and then I have the little angel baby blanket, which I'm also designing. I'm using size 8, 5.0 millimeter needles, and the yarn is Red Heart Super Saver in lemon. And I've done one repeat of the cable, the angel wing cable. Here's where I was. I'm into the second repeat of the cable. It's going to take a lot of repeats for a baby blanket. But that one's a little faster because it's not quite so much counting and keeping track of things, because I'm just adding a cable to it. All right, and then next up are my Rose City Rollers. So this was my Mother's Day cast on, and this is the Rose City Roller pattern by Mara. Oh, sorry about the nose itching. I can't help it. Mara Catherine Briner. I'm using size 1, 2.25 millimeter needles, and the yarn is Green Mountain Spinnery Sock Art Forest in Sarsaparilla. So I finished the first one. So, trying to make this so you can see. So that's where I was. Then I finished the first one. I just Kitchenered the toe this morning. So here's the side view. I tried it on they'll be okay, but I did 10 rows of stockinette. I think I might have preferred maybe more, maybe 20, 15 maybe, but they'll work. So on to sock number 2. Hopefully it will not take that long. And then the last one, the last first down, is the yellow market bag, which is the toddler market bag pattern by Heather Blum. I'm using size 8, 5.0 millimeter needles, and the yarn is Sugar and Cream in Sunshine. Got a lot of yellow going on. So I had just last time, I would just finished the handles, and I was on to the mesh section. So there you go. I love this. This is such mindless, quick, easy pattern. I love it. All right. So that's all of the first downs. So moving on into touchdowns, which are the FOs. So I have Preemie hat number 11 for the year, which is the Earth Baby Infant hat by Tracy. I will not try to say her last name. It will be linked in the show notes. Size 3, 3.25 millimeter needles, and the yarn is Sheep Dreamery Chop Tank in Emerald City. So last time I had run out of yarn. So this time I ripped it completely back and cast on, I think, 42 stitches instead of, I can't remember. One repeat less. There it is. Can't really see the little lace pattern in this yarn, but we'll keep a little teeny tiny head warm. All right, and then my second FO, or touchdown FO, is my Red Bird of Happiness, which is the Blue Bird of Happiness pattern by Sarah Elizabeth Kellner. I use size 4, 3.5 millimeter needles, and it is Lion Brand Woolies in Ranch Red. So again, I'm trying to make 24 ornaments for my tree. I cannot remember which number this is. I love this pattern. I'm not stuffing these because they're ornaments. I don't think that would work, stuffing them. Maybe it would, I don't know, but so they are unstuffed birds. All right, and then touchdown number 3 are my paved boot toppers, which are the paved pattern by Tin Can Knits. I use size 4, 3.5 millimeter, and size 6, 4.0 millimeter needles, and I just realized this is not the last touchdown. And it's Red Heart Super Saver in brown. So here's the first one. And here's the second. So this is where I was. So I did all this. So here's the 2 together. To prove I have 2. Sorry, hope I'm not making anybody nauseous. All right, so I do have one more touchdown, which is Doctor Who Blanket Square number 8. This is the Doctor Who Cyberman version 1 dishcloth square by Holly Narf. I use size 6, 4.0 millimeter needles, and the yarn is Knit Picks Mighty Stitch in Celestial. So I had not cast this on last time. So I did all this. Oh, it's kind of hard. Can't really see it very well. Sorry. The lighting's bad in here. Sorry. But, so that's square number 8. I need to figure out how many squares this blanket's going to be. This is for my husband. All right, moving on into turnovers, which are mistakes. This was not my mistake, but as a mint in my market bag, it is a big, huge, tangled ball of mess. So here's one. Here's one. Here's 3. It was so frustrating. Hold on, little man's calling me. Okay, he just finished lunch and now he wants ice cream. Told me I had to wait. So, and cotton yarn is fun to try to unravel. I hope you can't hear his iPad out there. He's watching YouTube videos. I had black track pants on, well, yeah, like yoga pants, like, and I had yellow fluff all over them. It was crazy. But that was not my mistake. That's Sugar and Cream's fault. Anyway, so moving on into training camp, future projects. So I have a lot of leftover yarn from my Birthstone Color Effect. Oh, wow. Turned my iPad on and it really, really made some... Can you hear him singing? I think he went back downstairs now. Kid sings nonstop. Yesterday he was singing so loud I couldn't hear the TV. I'm like, sing to yourself. Anyway, so I have a lot of yarn left over from my Birthstone Color Affection that I made. So I was looking for some shawls. So I think I'm going to make, it's called Autumn Morning. It's by Holly Dapp, who is Lupin Owens Jacob on Ravelry, and she hosts the Swift Knits podcast. Oh wow, that's a lot of glare. But it's in my library. It's just a cute little 2-color shawl. She's doing a knit along for her patterns through August 31st, and that will also count towards the Pal Cal with the actual knitting podcast, which is the podcaster knit along, crochet along, where you support your fellow, well, my fellow podcasters. You might not be a podcaster, but you support podcasters by knitting their yarn or their patterns or using their bags or stitch markers. So that is my future project. All right, moving on. Concessions purchases. So I have been on a winning streak. I never win anything, but I won another knit along prize, and I've won 2 more contests since then. They haven't come in yet, but maybe I should go play the lottery because I never win anything. So, but I won the baby knit along with Tanya the Sampler Girl podcast. So I won a bag from 3 bags full. Isn't it cute? Can you see the little? I don't know if it's a mouse. I think it's a mouse. He's awfully cute. So it's a little box bag. And I'll open it up. It's got a cute little just brown lining. And it's got a pocket inside, which I like. So, very cute. So, I will show you the others when they come. And I might have a lot of concessions next time because I have a birthday coming up in a week from tomorrow. And Joanne sent me a 20% off your total order coupon. So I just need to find time to go by myself. Little man is not very patient. And I just want to go and browse. So I don't know when that's going to happen. But it will happen because I never buy myself. My birthday money I get from my dad usually goes to paying off the car, the registration for the car. This year, I'm like, I'm turning 40, I'm buying myself stuff. Okay, moving on. Into the film room, which is books, TV, etc. So I finished since last time my wish list by Gregor Delacourt. It was about the woman who wins the lottery and decides that she's not going to tell her husband because she doesn't really want her life to change. It was very short. It was more like a novella than a novel, but it was good. I liked it. I think I gave it 4 stars on Goodreads. And then I also finished, since last time, Empty Mansions, The Mysterious Life of Hughie Clark and the Spending of a Great American Fortune. I don't think she's related to me. In case you didn't know, my maiden name was Clark. But her father was a copper baron. He was actually at one point, he's kind of, one of the things that they talk about is how he was lost to history because at one point he was richer than J.D. Rockefeller, and everybody knows who J.D. Rockefeller is, but people don't know who her father, W.A. Clark, is. But he was a copper baron, and she was very eccentric. She lived to be over 100 years old. She spent the last 20 years of her life living in a hospital in New York City with some very unethical doctors and nurses around her. I think she gave a lot freely, but it just made me sick. reading a lot of this. And then, of course, you know, she dies, and her will doesn't leave anything to her family. She had no children. She was over 100, so, like, her siblings had all died. Her parents had obviously died. You know, most of her nieces and nephews had died, you know, and these people, you know, her great nieces and nephews had nothing to do with her, but they want her money. I mean, and part of it too was she really didn't want people around her, but they still, like, could have written her a Christmas card. You know, maybe she doesn't want to visit with you, but, you know, I don't know. Money makes people do crazy things. We have this issue in my family right now, so. Anyway, it was very interesting. So she was very, though, like I said, very eccentric, and might have had, people have now theorized that she might have been on the autism spectrum, and I can definitely see where that might have been possible. But it was interesting. Now I'm reading Carpool Confidential by Jessica Benson. It's about a woman in New York City, and one day her husband comes home from his high-powered job and decides he wants to be a Barry Manilow impressionist. Sounds interesting. I've only read like 2 chapters. I just started it yesterday, so we'll see how it goes. Okay, moving on into TV, I watched Scream. This is the 2nd season of the television show on MTV. Bad TV, just like cheesy. Teenagers, like, where are their parents? Their parents are never around. And, you know, lots of drugs, lots of drinking, lots of partying, lots of sex, lots of murder. So, it's good if you like those types of things. It's good summer TV. And then there's 2 new to me podcasts. So the first is Creative Yarn Entrepreneur with Marie Segaris. And she is a crochet teacher, crochet designer, and she just gives you lots of tips on if you want to have a creative business. And I've listened to a few episodes, and I've really enjoyed it. And then the next one is Knit, Read, Pray with Laura, who's Elle Geeson on Ravelry. So, again, she talks about her knitting, what she's reading, and then she goes into a Bible study, which I will say don't let that put you off. She's not preachy. It doesn't come across like overly religious. If that might put you off. It doesn't bother me at all, and I'm not a very religious person. So actually, the one book she talked about sounded interesting. I think I might read it. It was about Ruth, and I can't remember the name of it, but it was about women who don't quit or something like that, and using the book of Ruth as, you know, because it's one of the only books in the Bible about the woman. There's Esther and Ruth. I used to know all this. It's been a long time. But anyway, moving on. So into the post game, which is the wrap up. So you can contact me on Ravelry. I'm Crazy Knitting Fool. On Twitter, it's Crazy Knit Fool. Instagram, I'm Crazy Knitter Studio. The blog is crazyknitterstudio.blogspot.com. The email is crazyknitterstudio@gmail.com, and the Ravelry group is Crazy Knitter Studio. So I will see you in 2 weeks for the next episode, which is July, people. July 2nd. This year is going by way too fast. Anyway, so I hope you guys have a good couple of weeks till I see you again. Do lots of knitting, sewing, crocheting, reading, watching TV, whatever you like to do. And as I always say, stay out of trouble. And if you can't stay out of trouble, just don't get caught. Talk to you later. Bye.